To be or not to?
I'm doing Stallone doing Hamlet. Like that's a.
I was transported.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Apollo is to be or not to be Apollo.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, that's over with.
Welcome to the Ever Forward podcast, the show where everything's made up and the points don't matter. Wait. Welcome to the Ever Forward podcast, where we find out if fear is really a factor for you.
What?
Welcome to the Ever Forward podcast, where we answer the age-old question of, is it cake? How am I doing?
You're doing good.
Thanks.
You're doing really, really good. Which audition is this for today? Who are you auditioning for? You're having a little bit of an identity crisis, I'm feeling.
Oh, I'm sorry. You mean every day of my fucking life? I'm a walking identity crisis. It's actually my superpower.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't think you're an identity crisis.
Give it time.
I've given it some time.
Yeah.
I've given it quite some time.
You know what I am? I'm like a hodgepodge of all of my favorite movie characters in some way. You know what I mean? Like I'm so like impressionable. Like whether it's music or whatever, I don't know what it is, but like if I see a movie that I get really into, that becomes my entire fucking personality. Like, yo, can I tell you something? When The Northman came out, the Viking movie with Alexander Skarsgård, dude, I, like a lot of men, decided that we were all going to be Vikings. And I would like look up I would do like Viking workouts, and during my workouts I would listen to like
did you do the guttural yeah.
In my head.
Look. That's bomb. That's some good music.
Viking war chants.
Ooh,
You got some
buddy.
deadlifts. You're trying to lift the dead, my guy. Trying to hit a new PR. Yo, you get some of that fucking Peyton Parrish, like, and you're like, if I don't lift this, my whole family dies. And you hit like a new PR every fucking time. Welcome to the Ever Forward podcast, your friendly backyard hangout by artists for artists. I'm Tyler Tackett.
I'm Mair Mulroney. But you never tried to go sailing.
What?
Vikings sail. That's what they do.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. No, I'm with you. I actually have gone sailing. We were out on the ocean recently. Not sailing, but hang on. I know what you're going to say. Not sailing. But my papa Walt, actually had a sailboat for a couple years.
I know. I knew this. Never mind. Yeah. But you didn't, during your Viking stage, you kept it to the garage workouts. You didn't actually go. You didn't actually like try to catch fish and take one of your axes out on the water. Oh, you don't like fish? Yeah.
No, but it was like there was this period of time that the house I was living at where I had like this gym, like makeshift gym in the garage. It would be so fucking hot, dude. But I like would tell myself that made me even tougher.
Like the gym we went to today?
Oh yeah, the gym downstairs at the complex is AC is out. But don't you feel like a little bit like, I don't know, don't you feel like you worked out harder even if you didn't, just because you're like sweating more?
When I try to lose weight, I do my exercises in the sauna.
Well, that's too hot though.
Yeah, no, it's like atrocious. It's really not. Probably not healthy for you, truthfully. But like, if I'm like, I really need to shed, and I just like layer up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been like a sauna guy.
Really?
I tried.
You're a Texas boy.
Yeah, I wasn't like into it. Maybe it's like PTSD.
Oh yeah, being outside hot summer days.
Dude, you know what the worst was playing football, because I played football all the way from like Pee-wee all the way through most of high school. And never really was like my thing. Like I liked football and I had a lot of friends with it, but you just do it.
Yeah.
You know? But we would have, starting in high school, we started doing two-a-days where we would show up at like the ass crack at dawn, man. Like I'm talking, it's like 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, something like that, and you're rolling into Willis High School's like athletic field.
I love that that's the name. That's such a Texas high school name.
Willis.
Yeah.
Willis Wildcats with a K.
Mm.
Wildcats never die. That was our anthem. Unfortunately, a
they
lot
do.
of them did very shortly after. But we would have to get there. It's terrible. We would have to get there at like 6 in the morning, dude. And it'd be Texas, like at the tail end of summer, right? And it would be like 2 weeks before school even started. We'd get there at like 6 a.m. We'd have to do a whole like 2-hour thing. And it's by like 6 or 7, dude, it's already like 90 degrees and humid as fuck. So you were just dying a slow death. And so we would do like 2 hours of practice, and then you'd go home for like a couple hours, and you'd have to go back up there and do the afternoon practice. And we did this like a week or two leading up to school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we also, at least when I was playing, it was against the rules to take your helmet off. Like, I don't know if it was like a trying to like force
That's
discipline
trying to
on
make
us.
you like tough. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess, man, it made me pass out more than once.
That's awful.
It was fucking hot, dude. You do build a weird like camaraderie with all your boys though. Going through
You
that.
trauma bond.
That's the word.
Yeah.
That's the word. Trauma bond.
When
That's
I was
right.
in military school, I got in trouble. Not like too much, but a couple of times. And I would have to do PT in the morning,
Yeah.
which was not that bad. Wasn't that
No.
bad? You have to wake up really early. It's cold.
What would you guys do? What was like a PT session?
Like, there was this hill that you had to run up and down a bunch of times in the dark. Yeah, and then, like push-ups and sit-ups and all of that, and the commandant's like yelling at you and stuff. But it like everybody, all the cool kids had gotten PT that week. Like, I don't know, it was just like something like I was kind of fine because I was thinking about it and I was like, dang, I would have nobody to like sit with at lunch right now.
If it wasn't for this.
If it wasn't for this, like all the well, actually, girls and guys sat separately. So,
Good.
But yeah, because
Good.
yeah, they couldn't cohabitate during lunchtime. Yeah, no, it wasn't that bad of a time. It like, oh yeah, you had like we had detention and stuff like that too that we had to do during that time. But it was all like the homies. It was fun. In fact, I'm pretty sure that the commandant was having a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, I love these little shitheads. I can never let them know.
Yeah.
Dude, there were some coaches we had that were kind of like that. I remember this one coach, Coach Warren, was like, I don't know, man, 5'2", like in heels. Yeah. Little fella, Italian guy, most jacked forearms I've ever seen. And Coach Warren had this big fucking college ring on his finger. Maybe not that one of his fingers. Big fucking college ring, like huge, like. And I remember we'd be we'd be at practice, and if you pissed him off, man, he would come up, and we all had our helmets on.
Oh,
Like, boom on the helmet, and it would ring because of the ring.
That's like slightly abusive. Yeah.
One ring to concuss to them all.
You got really
One ring.
You got
ring
so
to
excited about
blind
that
them.
that your toes wiggled when you said that. That's how I know you thought it was really clever. You're like not to.
That's a kind of tick. I didn't even know that was a tick of mine until until you came around.
Oh yeah.
It's like my way of like wagging my tail.
Yeah.
I
No,
guess.
that's your happy meter.
my my tootsers.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
I can tell.
I'm a little more aware of it now.
Yeah, you'll be on the couch sometimes, and I can like tell when you're having a thought, like you're watching something,
Yeah.
but your brain goes somewhere else, and I just see him wiggle, and I was like, huh, he's proud of himself. He thought of something clever.
In my defense, though.
I should give him some scratches.
Oh, I really do feel like I am just like my Patronus would just be like a little puppy, a Rottweiler puppy.
Probably, yeah. You got the coloring for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dark hair.
What would I be?
Like what dog?
No,
Or
what
your
Patronus?
Patronus? I could see a horse.
I've gotten that before.
No, that's great. You love horses.
No, I love horses, but like I've gotten horse face quite a bit.
Oh, that's so not what I was fucking saying at all. You love horses. Your name is Mair.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, kind of low hanging fruit. But if not that, You kind of give, I want to say like a deer, like a doe,
Yeah, I can
but
see
that's
that.
already been done so much in Harry Potter. Oh, we went and saw Harry Potter and
Oh
the
my
Cursed
gosh,
Child.
we did! What?
How did we
you
almost
not
spake-
mention that?
Yo, fuck everything else we were going to talk about and our super, super exciting guest. Our
Oh yeah,
first guest.
you guys, we've got a guest coming, and we're gonna talk about that, and that's gonna be in the episode. But
No, fuck him.
Okay.
Harry Potter and the Cursed Child at Pantages.
Bro!
That was so good. I had never read. That was one of the books I'd never read.
Me either, because I was like, how dare you? How dare you try to turn Harry Potter into a theater piece?
How do you feel now?
I'm so glad they did.
Right, dude. It was so good. It was so good. So for your birthday, I got us tickets at Pantages to go see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Dead center. Not. So I didn't want us to get too close to the front, because like.
Oh, then you have to like.
Yeah, and I had a feeling this was going to be a very stage present kind of show. Like you want to see the full stage, right? So we're back a little bit, but solid seats. Had us a little bit of Jameson before. We were all excited. We got seated.
We could have bought 2 bottles of Jameson.
Yeah, no shit,
by
dude.
the way.
We got 2 double Jameson rocks.
Yeah.
And when I say double, you think, rule of thumb is like a 2-finger pour is like a very nice, like generous, like we got you pour, right? So you would think like a double would be like maybe that and maybe like at least like half of the third finger.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, dude, that was like maybe a finger and a half.
The audacity to charge that.
I asked her for 2 fingers. She gave me 1.
Oh, that's so rude.
Thank you.
I would never do that to you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was really expensive, but so fucking worth it, dude.
Yeah.
That, I don't know if I'm still riding a high because it was only like a week or 2 ago.
It was exactly 1 week ago.
Yeah, it's been 1 week since the Cursed Child show. Nice. Always forget you're a musician.
So talented.
You are so talented. No, dude, but like, okay. I had a couple questions going into this play. Tell me if you had the same ones. 'Cause
Okay.
I didn't want to throw them out there and like put them in your head and make you aware of it. But I was like, okay, how are you gonna do? Like, I just didn't know how you were gonna convey like magic in the Harry Potter world, or like take us to all these grand locations and stuff. Like, I didn't know how they were gonna pull that off. So I was kind of worried that it might be kind of cheesy when it came to the magic thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know how I would feel about. I've never seen anyone else play those characters.
Yeah.
And even though it's an older version or whatever, like you just never have seen it. So you don't. And that's a very
so how's
specific.
that gonna play out?
Yeah. Exceeded all expectations.
Dude, it was so. I'm also so I didn't know. I was like, is it a musical? Right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know what to expect, and truthfully, like I am. People are gonna give me so much crap. I am not a big theater person.
No.
I didn't grow up in the theater. I don't have a theater background. I have never done theater, and I don't always like going to the theater. Sometimes I do. I've gone to like Broadway and off Broadway that have been absolutely phenomenal and stuff.
It's just not something you typically seek out.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain shows that I would absolutely love to go see.
Yeah.
Book of Mormon is one of them.
Oh, it's so good. We'll go. We'll go.
I would love that. But like,
love Book of Mormon.
For the most part, it's not it's just not my go-to kind of art form. So I was excited, but also nervous. And I was never going to tell you if I felt this way, because I was like, I'm sure the tickets were pretty pricey because they were very nice seats and it was very sweet of you. And I was like, but oh gosh, are they going to theater Harry Potter? Like, and when I say that, like the, oh my God, like
really over.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that gets to me.
Okay.
Now I saw Beetlejuice a couple years ago at Pantages, and the actors were fantastic. There were parts about the show where I was like, you guys are trying to turn it into a musical, but that had nothing to do with the performances. They were so
I feel like
good.
if you're at somewhere like Pantages, you're a pretty solid show.
Yeah.
I know what you mean though. Like there's a lot of times you get, invited to your homies like Black Box theater performance and you go and a lot of times they're really fun. sometimes, you know what I mean?
It can be questionable.
Yeah, and there is this weird pretension around like, well, if you don't, love the theater, spent time in the theater, you don't appreciate the craft or whatever. Which I don't think that's fair to say. I think we're in such a like film has been so present for so long now.
Yeah.
That I think it's okay if you are a fan of film. Now, and it's not to say that you, like you said, you don't enjoy it, but I don't like that idea that if like you haven't done theater, you're not a real actor. That's not fair.
No.
Some people aren't interested in that.
Truthfully, I don't like everything that I like to do is kind of like I've done stage.
Of course you have, yeah.
Done lots of stage performances, but I don't know, there was just always something, and maybe it was like the way that it was portrayed in like high school and stuff was very like you have to be. I was never the person who like really wanted all the attention.
Yeah.
And that's kind of who was drawn to it, and like that kind of made my skin crawl, so I just never ended up being around those people.
That's fair. Theater kids are a very specific breed. I mean, I are one, so I, but it's a specific breed.
You have your, there were always like standout people who were like truly talented,
Of course,
and I would enjoy watching them and stuff. But it was very far and few in between because it's high school, and like you have some people who are going to go on to do that, and some people are just doing it as like an extracurricular.
Sure.
Do
you think that you would ever now that you've been an actress for as long as you have and discovered that side of yourself, do you think you would ever do any theater?
Absolutely. In fact, I need to write my agents. There is a I need to write them immediately. Actually, they're doing
turn this off.
They're doing, oh my gosh, how am I forgetting it? Eurovision is coming
that's right.
to Broadway.
Yeah.
I
you
want
crush.
I want to audition for that. I will not.
Don't even say it. That is not the energy we bring on. Not on this show.
I would do that.
They'd be lucky to have you.
I would do that. I would totally do that. Yeah.
That'd be really fun. I bet it would light your soul on fire in a way you never expected. Yeah. Because you do have that history of being on the stage. You're not afraid up there.
Yeah.
And it kind of combine two things, especially like musical theater in some way, and getting to do it your own way. That's pretty cool.
I'm also not a fan of musical theater.
No, I know.
But that's different.
But I'm saying once you did it, you might feel differently. It may awaken something in you. Maybe
I've
not.
auditioned for enough of it to know like it's just not my
not
jam.
your bag.
It's
That's
not
fair.
my thing.
That's fair.
I like but like I love the Eurovision soundtrack, so they're gonna do that. Also, oh my gosh, so I'm gonna say the name wrong. It's either Imogen or Imogen Heap.
Mm-hmm.
Did the music for The Cursed Child, so it's not a musical.
Yeah.
But the music in it is fun. There's music transitions throughout, and oh my goodness.
I know. I want to talk about it more, but like I don't want to give any spoilers.
Okay, we won't do any
you should go
spoilers.
see it. Go see it.
We went in completely blind, not knowing anything about it, and I think that was the best way to do it.
Tell me, if you can, without giving any spoilers, give me like your 3 favorite kind of things across the board, the takeaways from the show that you really, really enjoyed.
Oh God.
It's kind of hard without giving any spoilers away.
The music.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The magic was absurd. I have no idea how they did some of that stuff.
Remember at intermission when we were grabbing a drink and talked to one of the folks that worked there, and she was like, "Yo, I used to be a manager at the Magic Castle, and we invited a lot of our our magicians out to come see the show, and they gave it like their magician stamp of approval because they legit were doing not just big like stage magic, they were doing like sleight of hand.
Oh, there's some stuff that I couldn't.
I still had no idea. That thing they do when they use that one magic device, the thing they do to the stage. I've been thinking about that nonstop, and I cannot figure it out.
I don't know how they did that. It was like wild.
Yeah.
Also, like some of the flying, and it was just crazy.
So the music, the magic.
And then I'm tied.
Okay.
Harry Potter and the Malfoy boy.
The Malfoy boy. Just their oh god, they were so good.
Freaking all of the actors were so amazing.
Yeah, they really were. There wasn't a bad performance from anyone, big or small. It was such a great show.
Oh, and the transitions. I loved the transitions between scenes.
You were breaking the rules.
Okay, what were your favorite things?
No, I'm fucking with you. I'm glad there's somebody, like I could go on and on. I don't know. not to say the same. I agree with all the things you said. Do something different. Oh man. The
Was it the train?
The train was great. The staircases I thought were really cool. There's a couple characters that return
Yeah.
that I was not expecting.
Oh,
And can I tell you something? Overall, as someone who didn't know, like I know. Don't say it. Don't say it.
it was so good. So good.
It's so good. I went into this never having both of us never. I don't know about you, but I avoided like all spoilers about that book because I knew one day I'd want to see the show. So I actually knew nothing about the actual story of this particular book. Nothing going in.
I'm the biggest Harry Potter fan on the planet, probably. Yeah. However, I know I do, and I avoided that. I avoided that book because I never thought I would see the show. I was like, I don't know what this is, but this has got to be so dumb, and I was very, very wrong.
Yeah,
that was so brilliant. It was so good. There's so many callbacks. Like, yeah, there's some new characters, but you really get to enjoy like your whole, like the whole cast, and it's that you like fell kind of in love with. It's just, it's so that would be my third. Is I think the story overall doesn't feel like a cash grab, like it doesn't feel like it's an addition to the story we didn't need. No. In a world where I'd love to see those characters continue, the way they chose to do it, I think is awesome. I enjoyed the story. So brilliant. And it's at Pantages for a little bit longer, but it's all over the place. Yeah. And Malfoy's coming to Tom Felton. Tom Felton. That's coming right. To Broadway. That's right. Tom Felton's going to be reprising his role of Draco Malfoy, albeit a little bit older. I know. You know, in a couple years, they're waiting a couple years. They're going to do the movie once the OG crew is old enough. Oh, I hope so. You know, yeah, I hope it'd be so good. And what'd be great about it too is that particular The Cursed Child is kind of a pretty heavy story in a lot of ways. It is. Like some really heavy stuff. Yeah. And all of these kids that we watch grow up and stuff are really good actors. Like, they did great then too, but they're like veterans of their craft and been doing this for a while and taking really weird, interesting roles and, stuff like that. I would love to see Daniel Radcliffe play that version of Harry. Oh my God. Yeah, dude. Yeah. He would be so good. And honestly, Tom Felton as Draco at that age is going to crush. I just hope they do a film version as well. But if not, definitely go see the show. Here's the question now. Now we're getting into touchy territory. Okay. If they do a film version and they cast everybody, all the OG actors, do they keep original Hermione or do they go with the new Hermione? Well, it depends. It depends, like, if you bring back Daniel Radcliffe... you have to bring her back. Yeah, you have to have the trio. Yeah. Like, if you're going to do it. If not, I'm cool with that, too. I would see the movie either way, but it would be really cool because they're getting close to the age where it's supposed to be 22 years after, I think. So... We're not that close. Calm down, okay? When did 7 come out? 7 part 2? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Fine. Well, I guess we've taken up enough time with Harry Potter. Okay. Should we let's introduce my very favorite Malfoy character of all time. Is that how you would describe our boy? No, I mean if I bet he would play a great Malfoy. A great Lucius and I would be Malfoy. I'm girl Malfoy. We're or like, he could be like the uncle or something. Yeah, Uncle Malfoy. Uncle Malf. Yeah. Oh my gosh, the gay uncle. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Or and so do I. Was he the cursed child? In some ways, Mair, I think we're all the cursed child.
So our guest today, our first
Yes,
actual
because we're
guest on
gonna
the
have
show.
guests on the show now.
Yeah, that was initially kind of the idea originally when we started this. Like we had to kick it off and kind of figure out what we were doing.
Yeah.
Still kind of
We're still tweaking
doing
some things.
that.
So we're having like the homies come in.
Yeah.
So there's no judgments while we figure it out.
It just works out that our homies are all really fucking interesting and talented people. So
absolutely.
First up to bat is the one and only Michael Vaccaro, who you've known for
Quite some time.
yeah, very successful, very, very beloved actor across multiple mediums, writer, musician,
Yeah.
and kind of just one of the baddest motherfuckers I know.
He's so talented.
I want to be like Vaccaro when I grow up.
Yeah, he really lives life in this kind of like fuck it mentality, you know.
Very talented guy.
So talented.
Love him to death. And when we really started this whole podcast thing, the goal was to not just come up here and shoot the shit, which is fun, but also to like kind of show off some of our friends because it's, you know, we live in a time where everyone can kind of do this sort of thing if you're, you know, willing to try. And because of that, sometimes when it's a little bit oversaturated, people get lost in the mix, and there's so many talented people out there. And because we've been doing this so long, and so, you know, we've had a chance to meet a lot of them, so we wanted to start bringing these guys on, and getting to hear their stories. And these are all people that aren't coming from, you know, they're people like us, people that aren't coming from money or like an established like family background,
Dynasty
like some
of-
nepotism things, nothing like that. It's people like us that
who
have
are out
worked,
here and they do it every day. Like they grind.
and show what that life is like and give you guys some insight on what, I don't know, being a journeyman artist is really like, and how much fun it can be, and how stressful, and how if you just keep pressing forward, you know, you can make these dreams come true. And who better than the lovely Michael Vaccaro?
He's the best.
Michael Vaccaro episode, Soft Sticks, everybody.
We have an awesome guest today. This is one of my favorite people in the entire world, one of my dearest friends, co-collaborators, fellow actor, journeyman, artist, Michael Vaccaro.
Hi, kids.
Bro, thank you so much for coming out.
Cheers. This is this is monumental. Is that the word you used? Monumental. That's
Definitely the word, right?
Yeah.
I went through a couple options. I thought monumental was the one that stuck out. I thought genre defining. I thought super. I thought life changing for some. But monumental seemed to encapsulate all that. I couldn't think of a better word for Michael
Well, I
Vaccaro.
appreciate it.
Michael's been telling us for a minute. He's like, you need guests on the podcast.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, we know. We're trying to figure out our formula. And then it got to the point where it's like,
Kind of weird that he ended up being our first guest.
it's like a formula.
You planted a seed.
know?
I did. This was my plan all along. Eventually, I'm just going to take it over. It's just going to be me.
How very Hollywood of you.
I'm going to go. It's exactly Hollywood of me. It's 100% Hollywood of me. It's like stealing ideas. That is Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like that would actually, you would be the type of person
Yes.
who like actually.
You got that crazy look in your eye. I am so listening.
Actually,
I want to
not
hear
mad
what
at
type of
this
person.
idea.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Not mad at this idea. Picture me this. Camera. Vaccaro.
Yep. Say less.
Microphone. Just go. Just go. Where you just like a Theo Von style where you just sit in front and you just talk. So
Just
you
riff. Yeah.
You just riff and say things. But like
Cal Rifton Jr.
maybe we could maybe there's a caricature of Michael Vaccaro.
Besides the actual caricature of Michael Vaccaro, that Michael Vaccaro presents in real life. Yeah, that caricature. Yeah. I mean, I have, it's so, I don't know if everybody else does this. I'm sure other humans must do this. Like I live by myself, right? In a single studio apartment. And so I have conversations with myself all the time. I have fights with people. Like I get into like arguments with people who aren't there.
Oh,
like,
you were in such good company, my man.
But I fear, my fear always is like, I always think like, I'm going to get to a point in my life one day where I'm actually like so old that I forget and start like doing them out loud. Like, when I'm walking down the street or if I'm in a restaurant or something like that. And I'm going to be one of those people who like, one of those crazy people just is kind of like on the bus. If you've ever been on a bus.
Yep.
One of these people who actually has like, conversations with people who aren't there anymore, but out loud. Like right now, so far, I'm doing it alone in my apartment, and it's
With
only
the
in my
windows
head.
open though, most likely.
My windows are always open.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like if you come to my apartment, you'll be able to see me walk around naked because my windows are always open.
It's the only thing that
thing that I
gets me
have.
into Hollywood these days.
Is it?
We were we were actually at your place doing a photo shoot
Yes.
a couple
Yes. Oh, yeah.
like a month or two
Yeah.
back, and I remember you had your windows open, and like one of your neighbors was like walking by with her dog,
Oh,
and she was like,
yes.
"Michael,"
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Hey!"
Yeah. Well, there was this years ago. There was this guy who used to come bring me drugs.
Sure.
Right at 4:00 in the morning, and
Ooh.
like and my phone would be off. I would turn off my phone, and so he would just stand outside on the street and yell, "Michael!" Yeah, that's how I got all my.
That's old school.
That's how I got all my crack.
Yep. And that's actually why we brought you in today. Today, kids,
Gonna
we're
do a
going to
tutorial
discuss
about
the
crack.
importance of avoiding crack cocaine.
Oh,
Have you ever done crack though, like on a serious?
is that a
note?
serious question?
Yeah.
We're starting big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What's that like?
Oh God. Okay.
Is it as awesome as it
Now,
seems?
is it like woo bob crack or like crack crack?
What word did you
What
just
did
say?
you just say? Yeah.
What?
What did define that? Define woo bob.
Woo bob is like when you sprinkle a little cocaine in a blunt.
Define whatever you just said.
Cocaine
Oh, cocaine.
in a
oh, cocaine.
blunt,
I've heard of that
and
one.
you smoke that.
All right, so let me go back a little bit. If we're really
I
going to talk
believe
about this.
Wu-Tang Clan made it like a thing. And
Well,
we
if Wu-Tang
called-
said it, it's
and
cool with me.
Yeah, so we called them woo
So
bobs.
back in the day, I can tell you this because I don't care anymore. The cops might they're not after me anymore.
They know better than to come to this apartment.
When I was a teenager in my early 20s and I lived in New York City, I was definitely doing a lot of drugs.
Sure.
And one of my friend, a really good friend of mine, whose name I absolutely cannot remember.
Oh, so they were good drugs.
I thought you were going to say absolutely cannot say, but you're like, absolutely cannot
No, I literally
remember.
cannot remember her
I
name.
would say I would put her on
but-
blast in a minute.
But I was like, I spent all of my time in her apartment, and she was French, from France.
Sure.
And she had this very thick French accent, and she was a prostitute. And she had this pimp. Back in the day, they were called pimps. I guess they're still called pimps. And she had this pimp who would come over to the
Called
apartment all the time, who would be there all the time.
managers
And we would sit there and we would just do just gobs of drugs, just all kinds of stuff. And we started freebasing.
Oh, we talking the real shit.
Right.
Let's
And
go.
So I have to tell you that there is. I understand why people. What?
This just reminded me of a story.
All right. Okay. All right.
Jesus.
Okay. Here we go. And so I will never forget it. The first time I freebased cocaine, and because it was like I had done a bunch of cocaine already for years. I'd been doing cocaine.
When did you start?
Like at what age?
Yeah.
I don't know, 14 or something like that.
God damn.
I started. Yeah.
A real artist.
I grew up in New York City.
Yeah, it's a little different.
And I was definitely,
I was 16. I don't know why I'm talking shit. All right. Anyways.
and I was definitely one of those. I was a problem child, I guess. Maybe I don't know. I
who
mean,
you ask.
yeah. I mean, like I was like. By the time I was 13 or 14, I was already like smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I was in like high school. Hey, what did you do? So I was smoking all, and I started. Then you start smoking weed because weed is a gateway drug. That's what I'm told.
Take notes.
In case you want to do heroin, this is how you start.
Yes.
So I was doing drugs and like going out and like disappearing for days at a time. They would have to call
You
the
were
cops.
pulling benders at 14?
Because like this was in the late 70s in New York City, and I was gay. I already knew I was gay, and I was like out there, and I was like a party child, and so I would go to clubs, and I would get into clubs, and you could go to liquor stores back in the day in New York City, and nobody would ever card you because nobody cared. It was New York City. It was the 70s.
Yeah.
And then I would get into clubs because I was cute and I was gay and I was like, willing to have sex with bartenders and stuff. Like, so, and I'm underage at this point, which is bad. Don't do this. So anyway, so I was doing, it was a nightmare, for many
your
years.
mother
For
or
my poor mother, my poor mother. So anyway, so I'm with this French prostitute and And the pimp gives us, we start freebasing, and I was like, okay. And it was such an incredible high. I really shouldn't be saying this in such a positive light, but it was so great.
Yeah.
Like my whole body was like, right. It was so, it was like, yes.
So what you're saying is it does its designed purpose. However,
well, it's
very
bad.
aggressive.
It's good at first, and then of course it turns bad.
Sure.
Of course, as with many drugs, they eventually turn bad. The
Too
whole
much
reason I'm bringing this up is because then many years later, crack was the closest thing to freebasing.
That's right. Okay.
Crack
because-
had a very similar feeling to the feeling of freebasing, and it was cheap. It was like $10
Whitney
or
Houston
something
told us
back in
that.
the day. Yeah, crack is whack.
I think she said it was cheap.
Did she say cheap?
She's like, that was that.
Oh,
yeah,
that's why
her
she
whole
was saying why she didn't do it, which is
Yeah.
a fucking lie. But yeah. We all know that now.
sure.
That didn't end well.
Fuck.
But that was, yes. So that was your question, right?
Yeah.
Did I do crack? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on, real quick. I want to backtrack.
Yeah,
A couple things. One, you are a tremendous actor.
I'm your first guest who's ever freebased cocaine.
Well,
That's true. Well, guest.
Yes.
no, I never have.
Oh,
I never
so,
have.
yeah,
no.
first guess. First guess. However,
Yes. Yeah.
for the sake of getting moderately deep off of
Sure,
that
please
story.
do.
So you said like what, 14?
That's when I started doing drugs, basically 13, 14, something like that. Yeah.
What else was going on? Was there like a specific like thing that aside from just kind of the environment and like where you were like in life?
So I was an actor, right?
Still are,
I
yeah.
was a child actor. So I
Oh
started.
yeah, you did start early. I forgot
started
this.
very early. That's
Didn't
right.
you
I
like
got it.
join the union at like, I don't want to say 5. That might be a little young.
I was
but,
8
Okay, I was
when
close.
I joined the Screen Actors Guild.
Dang.
Yes, when I got my first job, something like that.
So you
And
knew out the gate you were an artist. Like it was just like, was it like
That's
a
an
calling
interesting thing? Yes, I definitely think that I don't have anybody in my family who is an actor or in show business in any way.
Yeah,
Love
same.
that.
And so there's got to be something. It couldn't. There was no like thing that like I didn't like see a show or something and think,
No,
oh
you
my
just
god, that's
know.
what I wanted to do. Like it was something that I don't remember ever not feeling or not
Yes.
thinking.
Yeah.
Was it specifically film or was it just the
No.
art,
No,
the
it's
arts in
just
general?
an-
No, it was
as a
stage
teacher.
actually. It was
Oh.
like it
Oh,
was
okay.
like I wanted to be a musical theater performer.
Well, that's what I was kind of getting at is because I know you're also a musician.
Right.
So I didn't know if one came first or if it was all kind of encompassing or if it was just like, I feel like I'm someone that is very expressive or what kind of came first.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that it was always sort of there. Like I just always knew it was definitely like a DNA thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like where you just, my brother's always said that to me, like, because he's, got a stable job and, like, all of that. And he's always been kind of like to me, he's like, yeah, but Mair, you always knew who you were and what you were going to do.
Yeah.
And I still don't know that, and it's a hard thing.
He
to
was
think
saying he
about.
still doesn't know. Like,
He's
right, yeah,
still
yeah,
like,
got
and he
it,
knows who he is and stuff,
Right.
and he knows what he's good at and what, but like, in the long, like, that was never a question. It was never a like, oh, I'm going to go to school and maybe figure out. It was like, well, no, I'm doing this. And you just know it from the second you're born.
I wonder if that's I don't know. Is that an actor thing? Like, did you have that? meaning like being that self-possessed that young. Like because I definitely was.
Yeah.
I always knew. I knew who I was from the very beginning.
I feel like even if like, yeah, I think so. Because I think even if it's like something that you don't, and I guess I'm just speaking from my own personal experience, but I feel like it was kind of a thing where it was kind of undeniable to myself. Like for me, I was like small town Texas kid, there was a very specific type of life that was kind of expected. I was fortunate that I had some really wonderful family members that never really tried to control me too much and let me express myself. But generally speaking, it was a specific kind of lifestyle. And I always kind of felt this, you want to fit in, right? So you suppress parts of yourself, but it kind of became like the thing where it's like undeniable.
Yeah.
It was just like, I don't know if it's that I want to be an actor. I don't know if it's whatever, but there's a part of me that I can't turn off, and then
Right.
as you get
Yeah.
a little bit more perspective with age. Maybe you're able to define it better. But I think that's kind of the same thing, right? Like maybe you were like lucky enough to be able
Yes, I think.
Yeah,
I think I was.
you
For sure.
tapped into it.
But I also think that I felt a little bit of the opposite, which is I actually never had that compunction to fit in.
I'm so jealous of that, man. You're that way too.
I've never had. No.
I respect that out of you both
I
so
never
much.
felt that, which is I possibly. I don't know if that what came first, the chicken or the egg. I don't know if I wanted to be an actor first and then I didn't care about fitting in because I knew I was different, or like I don't know, or I was different and I wanted to. I don't know. But that also leads to the question about the drug use. Like that was something that was I didn't want to be like normal kids. I didn't want to.
That was the same thing. So we have similar paths. Yours is probably a little bit more extreme. But like I was in, one of those Scared Straight programs by the time I was 15.
Yeah.
So, and I went to military school and stuff like that. And it wasn't like I didn't want to be bad. I didn't want to but it was kind of like I want to I want to be different. I want to carve my own path and I want an adventure. So, and it was kind of like, all right, now I know what movies I like to watch. What would the main character of that movie be doing right now? They'd be fucking.
That's how you rationalize
yeah,
things
no, actually,
as a kid.
In my
Did you
head,
feel that too?
Yeah.
Was that kind of your?
Well, but I also wanted to be bad.
Yeah.
I didn't just want to be different. I also wanted to be bad.
You
but
rebellious.
But I think maybe movies had a lot to do with it. My mother, she was absolutely a lunatic for doing this. I remember it was 1973, and she took me to see The Exorcist.
Ooh, and you're how old?
9.
That's too young.
Yeah.
I still have a hard time making it through The Exorcist.
And so I went. So this was the kind of mother I had. So I think it was maybe. So that sort of added to it as well because I saw movies. I remember seeing Dog Day Afternoon. If you've not seen Dog Day Afternoon, you have to see it.
Pacino, right?
Al Pacino, yes,
right?
Al Pacino, one of the greatest screen performances ever.
Okay,
and he plays a bank robber. But there was something about being in New York City in the '70s and sort of being an actor and being gay and all that stuff that sort of culminated in this whole sort of persona that I had at the time, which is of I was this little kid. I had a thick New York accent, so I talked like Joe Pesci. Get the fuck out of here! What the fuck are you talking about, teacher? You're no fucking shit.
Yeah.
And being from the Bronx,
so much,
and all of that stuff sort of became who I was, and the drugs ended up being a big part of that. It all just sort of felt
more of like it was part of the character.
Like it was part of. In my mind, it wasn't a character at the time.
Right.
Now I see that it was putting on facades. But
well, that's what we do, right? Like we create these characters as like a suit of armor, that we wear. And to protect us, whether it's to fit in, whether it's to whatever, and sometimes you wear that suit of armor so much that you forget you're wearing it. Thankfully, you had the wherewithal to be like, okay, time to change the pace. But
that came many years later.
Yes,
It's funny though because it's a New York thing too. So my parents are from New York. Most of my family is, and they're all New England now type of thing. And I remember growing up in Virginia and being taught to be super sweet.
Oh,
and
being a lady.
Being a lady and being you don't say no and you always say please and you always say thank you and you're very this and that. And so I was incredibly shy, but inside I knew I wasn't. Mm-hmm. And it's a weird thing. And I remember watching Goodfellas, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, and being yeah, but I feel like that's kind of a little bit me. At my core.
Which character?
The Irish one, the main guy.
Ray Liotta?
Yeah.
Ray Liotta. Interesting.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah,
I felt
dude.
very much like that.
My mother was Lorraine Bracco in Goodfellas.
Oh, shit. Are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, that's my mother was that. That was
That persona.
Yes, she was Lorraine Bracco.
Yeah.
And, she was from Italy, and she was a tough Italian, and they came to New York, and she became a New Yorker.
Sicilian?
And she was Lorraine, and she's Sicilian.
Hey,
and,
same.
Yeah. So it was a whole thing. It was definitely a New York thing. And my idols were Pacino and De Niro and Scorsese and all of those people.
Yeah.
So, and in the Bronx especially, I mean, we were taught your only emotion is anger.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Your only option is to fight and get a baseball bat and crush somebody's kneecaps.
It's very effective.
Yeah,
It is
and that was-
very effective.
So, and so I spent many years being that, and I mean, again, so it wasn't until years later where I thought, oh, there are other emotions.
Yeah,
There are
yeah.
other things to feel.
Sure.
You don't
Yeah.
have to be angry every single minute of every single day, but that's all besides the point.
But listen, you only know what you know.
Sure.
Right? Like if and we're kind of a product of what's introduced to us. So if that's all you know, that's all you know.
And it served me well, again, because I was an actor. And so I started working and I started getting jobs and
You like channel that because like you know that it's not who you are, but you've had to be that before. So you know how to like tap into it really quickly.
yeah.
Wait, hang on. I
So
wanted to
yes,
ask.
but yes.
We kind of touched on it, but
Yeah.
what was this first role? So you're 8 years old. You do your first thing, or is 8 just like
what
your
a-
first
I
big one?
must have been, you know what, I don't remember. I know, there used to be this thing called the Sears catalog.
Yes.
course.
Of course, right. And so they used to hire these, these little child models to like put on a fucking sweater.
Oh,
Yeah.
I knew I recognized you.
That was it. So I did a lot of that.
He's
shit.
that guy.
Right. And then I don't know how old I was, but I got a part in a movie. So I think the first job was I had a recording contract with Columbia Records.
Wait, how old were you when you got that one?
That was around that time. I was a kid.
Oh.
No
was a kid.
kidding.
Like
I didn't know that.
Donny Osmond and Michael Jackson were like huge at the time, and they
Yeah.
were both kids. They were both kids. So I got a recording contract, and so that sort of catapulted me into what would become sort of the drug use because I was surrounded by all of these musicians.
Sure.
On adults. Yeah.
Adult musicians who were all gay.
All of them are, even the straight ones.
Even the straight ones are gay.
Even the straight ones.
100%.
Yup.
There's just no getting around that. Yes. So that's where it started. So then I was doing the child modeling. I was doing recording. I was recording in the studio. And then, I don't know, like, so that's how I got into clubs and stuff because I was with all these,
So young.
music producers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
That
have
was
this
sort of,
you have this wild like fucking thrust into entertainment, and I assume as a kid your only concept of what this is like, oh, movies, like the thing on the fucking screen, or music, oh, like the thing on the radio. I do that. This is cool, but you don't really you couldn't understand the scope of it. So you do this, you get started around like call it 7, 8 years old, right?
Yes.
And then what year do you move to LA?
I think I was 25.
Okay.
Last year.
Oh,
The
so
first
we're
time.
skipping a lot. We gotta go back. We gotta go back. We gotta.
I was
get
on a
some more-
soap opera
Oh, which one?
in New York. It was called Another World. It's no longer
Okay.
on, but I mean, it's gone a long time.
Oh, is that who the character from Good Works was kind of based off of? The fact that he was on a soap opera, like
Possibly, yeah, for sure. But in
his
my
character
yes.
that he developed.
on
for
Good Works, I
our-
was playing a character. What was his name? Rip
Rip something.
Rip something.
I think maybe it was just Rip. I don't know.
I think he had a last name, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I was on a soap opera as a teenager, and that was great. But the thing about it was that all of a sudden, there's a certain amount of notoriety that comes with that, and also a lot of money that comes
Yeah,
with
soap
that.
operas do. People don't realize this. Soap operas pay very, very well, and they pay. I think it's weekly,
I think maybe I probably got to check every week or 2 weeks. Probably
Yeah.
every 2 weeks, I'm guessing.
and,
And
they're consistent.
That's I think
They're
what it is.
very
That they're
consistent. So
and
it's
also
like-
soaps were much more popular
Huge.
Soaps
back
are-
then.
Hugely popular.
Soaps are still very popular.
When
Now
I
they
was-
call them verticals.
Yes.
Those don't pay as well.
No.
So anyway, so there was a lot of money. And
Yeah.
so once that happened, and it was very fancy in New York City, get picked up in a limo every morning, get driven to the
When did
city.
the
yeah.
soap start? How old? Roughly?
Maybe
like-
17?
Okay, so you're
Something like
still
that.
you're still kind of a kid.
I'm still a teenager, for
Okay.
sure. I'm still living with
And
my
you're like
mother.
steadily working and kind of stuff from like when you started to 17, or was there like kind of a gap, or did you?
No, I pretty much always worked. I did a lot of theater.
Nice.
A lot of theater.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always pretty much worked. I've been lucky.
Favorite play that you've worked on?
Ooh.
Is there one that stands out?
Yeah.
Not to
well,
sidetrack, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest and tell you that it's that my favorite thing to do on stage, besides if you asked her about a play,
Yes.
it would be Shakespeare. It would be
Okay.
like probably Macbeth.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
You know,
I loved.
you talk about Shakespeare a lot, like
Yeah.
in regards to like for you.
Yes.
You know, like Colin talks about Shakespeare a lot.
Yes, he does.
And that
Hi,
makes
Colin.
sense.
Yeah.
That then you're like, oh, that tracks, right? But for you, every time.
You fucking drug addict. What are you doing Shakespeare, you fucking asshole?
No, not at all, not at all. But like,
To be or not to.
I'm doing Stallone doing Hamlet. Like that's a
I was transported.
yeah.
Hello, Apollo is to be or not to be Apollo.
oh, so sweet.
And this is what it looks like when I eat her head.
I was gonna ask you this question. I forget what we were watching. Oh, we were watching True Detective last night, right? And there was the episode.
Which one?
First season.
The
The only
first
one worth
season.
watching.
Got it.
And there
Is
was
that
an-
Matthew McConaughey?
Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
And there's-
Career best for McConaughey. Potentially Harrelson, but Harrelson's got also
gosh,
People
he's so
versus
good.
Larry Flint and
I'm sorry, Hunger Games.
Natural Born Killers.
It's amazing. I mean, they're both incredible. I love everything that they do. But and together, my favorite.
They're brothers.
So good.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, apparently. Okay, so we were watching True Detective, and I wanted to ask this question. I guess it's a little bit off topic, but like it's part of the journey, you know.
Okay.
So I don't think it is. There was this part where they were talking about like the priests and like something had happened at this school and blah blah blah, and the character who came out who they ended up talking to was this grown man, and as an adult he was trans,
Okay.
and a man. He's a trans woman, right?
Okay.
So
Male to female.
yeah, male to female. And the question that kind of came in my little gummy mind at the time, because I had a little gummy, I was like, why does that happen sometimes? Is it beforehand, or is it something where it's like something like that will happen and then it kind of changes your brain chemistry, or is it something that a predator can sense?
If you're asking me that question,
Yeah.
I would say both.
Mm.
There's no question in my mind that trauma, and I want to again state very clearly that in my mind at the time it was not traumatic, but trauma, like that kind of situation that should not have happened, absolutely changes brain chemistry. There's no question in my mind about
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
Right?
My therapist explained to me like a year ago something that seemed like common sense once he said it, but I had never heard it put this way. When you're born, imagine your little baby mind that just got here, this little chubby face alien. Your brain is like a mountain that has fresh powder on it. Snow. No one's touched this snow, right? Every experience you have is a sled
Is a
down a
footprint or
side,
something, right.
right?
Yeah.
And maybe you go down that path one time and it's a very small indent, or maybe that path becomes the path that you go down every time because you're a product of what's introduced to you, right? And your reaction to it.
Said that to me.
So
Yeah.
you and if after say 20 years of experiences, these different pathways, some are deeper than others, they're all a little bit different. If someone were to pour, say, because this is for sure how science works, except not at all, if someone were to pour a glass of water on this presumably small mountain and or giant glass of water on top of this mountain, the water would run into the divot that it was the
Yes.
deepest.
Right.
Learned behavior.
Yes.
You build up these habits that even if you know they're not good for you, maybe they are good for you, whatever the case may be, your natural inclination whenever something happens is going to default to that trained behavior. And I feel like a lot of times what happens is people write someone off when they hear that they have some sort of childhood trauma. They write them off and say, oh, well, it was so terrible to them, and that's why they're this way. Instead of being like, oh shit, dude, maybe there's an opportunity here for me to, if depending on the relationship, help this person learn some other pathways, or at least be supportive in their, call it journey, to use an overused word, and finding new pathways. I understand that takes time, but they almost use people's trauma as like to kind of write them off. Does that make sense?
Excuse, like you are this
Yeah.
way now, as opposed to you're used to being a certain. No, this isn't like sexual orientation or anything. It's just a way
Right.
of thinking. Yeah.
No, I understand.
But
Yeah. yes, I think that's certainly more than valid. And I also think that I don't know how this happens. I truly don't. I maybe was just lucky,
Okay.
but I was able to those I was going to say skid marks. Those,
Also a fair analogy. Fair.
those
Those divots in the snow.
if you're somehow able to look at them and figure them out and learn from them and get to the other side of that,
Uh-huh.
which I feel like I have been able to do for whatever reason. I feel like I'm very lucky. It becomes a tremendous, not just learning experience, but evolutionary experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that many people are not able to do that for whatever reason.
Right.
I think this is actually interesting. It ties into being gay as well, because I think that gay people have to have a much more difficult time in society than straight people, right? And because of that, straight people are sort of given signposts and guidelines, basically
yeah.
a blueprint. This is what you're supposed to do. This is the journey you're supposed to be on. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. You're taught, you're trained. Gay people aren't given that. They have to suppress tons of stuff.
Sure.
And so because of that, it's sort of like fighting a battle. And once you fight that battle and you somehow are able to get past it, get to the other side of it, if in fact you are able to do that, then I think you become stronger. This is not I'm not advocating trauma.
No. But I think you're absolutely right. Like, it's all in how you handle it, right? Like, the world's going to throw some shit at you that you are woefully unprepared for and is not going to be fair and you're not going to deserve it, but it's going to fucking happen, unfortunately. And that's where you get to discover what your character is. What kind of person are you? You know, in a world where it's inevitable that these monsters exist, like, okay, are you the kind of person that cowers in the face of this? Or are you the kind of person that says, I'm scared, I'm terrified, but I'm going to proceed forward anyway, which is kind of the definition of bravery, right?
That's great, because it's a really interesting question, and which I will pose to you to see what you think about this.
Lay it on me.
I genuinely love who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
I truly do. I really, really do. And I wonder if those things that happened to me, had they not happened, I would be a different person than I am today. Those things informed who I am today. There's no question about it, right? Everything that happened in my life, everything that happens in everybody's life. If those things had not happened, I would be a different person.
Mm-hmm.
And so do I look at those things as traumatic and bad and negative and whatever connotation you want to put on it and try to deny those things, or do I accept them because those things were part of who I am?
Right. It's a tough question to answer, right? Because you want it, the natural.
You don't want kids to have trauma.
No.
Obviously.
You don't want anybody to hurt.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but
Cheers.
I think, yeah. I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's like when you, it's very, not having a blueprint is kind of similar. It's similar to somebody who chooses a non, not a standard life path.
Correct. Yeah, sure.
Especially if you grow up in a world where everybody is, you become a doctor, you become a lawyer, you become you become an electrician, there's different things that you do, which all great career paths. But that's what you see at the job career day. Yeah, that's what you see. You don't see the other things. It doesn't seem possible. It seems weird, and anybody who decides to do that is weird. And they're kind of like, oh, well, who do you think you are? And like blah blah blah, or you think you're this or blah. And it's weird. And so in kids, everybody wants to fit in. So you don't want to be friends with the weird kid or like support that to a certain extent. And you in life, you have to figure out a different way. Like, how do I get a loan? you know, I have a project that I want to make. How do I go about that, doing that? And there are other ways, but it's kind of this underground thing that's not talked about. Not that it's like illegal, but like, you know, in building something, how do you build credit when you have nothing? Like, how do you do that? There's ways of doing it, but nobody teaches you that unless you go about X, Y, and Z. But there's another blueprint that's like over here that nobody teaches you how to get to, and you have to find that on your own. And you go through these experiences and you have these things where it's like, yeah, so you love who you are today because I think you've always loved yourself. You've always known who you were. And at times you probably didn't, you know, and there's, you know, reasons for lashing out, but there's this certain, and having certain behavior, you know, you're not a crazy person in any way, shape, or form.
Not, right.
You just had a crazy life, but that's part of what makes you who you are. That's what makes you so lovable. And like people get on set around you and they're like, that guy, because you're like, you don't care. You've been through it. You're like, I'm not trying to impress anybody here. I've done this. I've lived this. You guys have no idea.
Yeah.
But without saying it, but like your persona is just so unapologetically Michael Vaccaro at all times. That's one of my favorite things about you. That's what Tyler loves about you.
Yeah, no, look, that's the thing you guys were both saying earlier, and multiple times, like how you both were like, no, I knew who I was and this sort of thing. And that's so cool and so powerful to hear, because I got to be honest with you, as someone who does the same things as you guys, I was not that kid. I had the opposite experience. My experience was very much a world. I came from, divorced parents, which was actually never an issue at all. Because, like, I
kind of might have wished that mine were at points.
Yeah. Everybody's story is different. Kudos to two very young kids who got thrown something they were not prepared for. Because I always say this, and it's very important to me. I've never once seen my parents, my mom and dad, hug or kiss, but I've also never seen them fight. And I will never have a memory of them fighting because they were, did whatever they had to do at a very young age because they were both very young. So kudos to them. Love you, mom and dad. Hey, mom. Hey, dad. No, but point being, because that, and I also was in a situation where I was fortunate enough to have both sets of grandparents as well. So it became, and I was close to them. So it became 4 different households that I would bounce between any given week, right? And all very different people. Dad's side, much more religious and much more traditional in some ways. Mom's side was, the Italian side of the family. They were a little bit bigger. They were not in any way
bigger physically? What do you mean?
No, just bigger personalities.
Oh, okay.
No, just bigger personalities.
No, his dad, very handsome man. You guys look a lot alike, but them ankles, okay?
They thick boys.
Those are some thick
Texas
boys.
legs, got it. Yeah.
They thick boys. We little, but we big at the same time. No, so like for me, my thing was, and also, like I said, I was like this kind of chubby, dorky kid with like a gap in my teeth, and like I loved anime and all these kind of weird like it's superheroes. Fucking love Batman, and and so I always felt like I had to alter my personality depending on. And I didn't realize I was doing it, like you were saying, but like I always felt like I had to alter my personality depending on where exactly I was, and that carried over into adulthood. Like that's your entire thing. So you're like, it's a defense mechanism. It's a lot of different things. So it's in my adult years. I hit my 30s. I'm like, oh fuck, I think I might be in a permanent identity crisis, i.e. actor. But all that to say, I do admire the both of you, because I would absolutely agree with you and you in that you are both so unapologetically yourselves, and that is such a difficult fucking thing to do, man. And I admire that, and being with you and spending so much time with you and getting to know you too, it's inspired me to be that same way. So
you are that way. You've always been that way.
I haven't been. I am now, and I'm learning to be even more so. But our experiences kind of shape who we are. And what's interesting about it too, to me, is to kind of circle back to the what we do kind of thing is. It's always so interesting to me that your story, very uniquely yours. Your story, very uniquely yours. Mine, right? Very different. However, somehow, some way, we found this one thing that we do that we all can relate to, and we can bring our complete, and actually to yes and what you were saying, you're absolutely right. There is no one defined path for any of this stuff. But there's a lot of people that'll tell you, everyone you meet when you start this and when you've been in it for a while will tell you, oh, this is how you do it. Some people are like, oh, well, you need to go to LA immediately and you get in acting classes. This is the only acting class you need to take. And then you need to do X, Y, and Z, and that'll take you here. That is the way you do it. So-and-so did it that way. And then you meet someone the next day and they tell you the same thing, but it's a completely different story. They tell you this is the way to do it. And that's the fucked thing when you're young and already confused is you're like, how do I do this thing? And everyone's giving you different advice and it can be really confusing. But, if you hold true to your guns and surround yourself by the right people, somehow, some way, you end up in a situation like this where you're surrounded by people that inspire you, that are good people, and find common ground.
How did we end up here? Like, once you decided to make the move to LA, what was that?
What was that?
Yeah.
Well, because I was on the soap opera, and I thought, and it had ended. The soap opera, my time on the soap opera ended. I was killed in a fire.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Shit's hot.
And I came, and I thought, oh, I'm hot shit. There you go. I'm gonna go to LA and I'm gonna fucking take over that whole fucking town. I'm gonna get myself a television series. I'm gonna have this soap opera in my
Hollywood's on hold waiting for me.
Absolutely. And of course that was, ridiculous.
25? So you're doing
25 years old at that point.
Yeah.
By the time I finally finished that.
I came to LA at 25 too. It's a strange thing though, because coming from the East Coast, because I did a lot of business in New York. I was in DC, but back and forth to New York every weekend because that's the entertainment hub. And I would come to LA because I was in music at that point. So it was like, but coming to LA is a different thing. It's very different for East Coast people. I've never seen, not that, and I, at the time was like, I had short red hair, like almost buzz cut, like dressed like a boy, didn't want to be a girl, like at that point. I mean,
can we put up pictures during this?
Gosh.
We'll for
find
sure.
some, yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something right now. If I can't find that picture, I'll Photoshop one.
No, I still have them, but it's a weird thing when you come out and you're like, okay, I do really well here, but you come to LA and it's like, nah, bitch, we do this. You know what I mean? Like the industry is kind of like, well, we don't really give a shit who you were. And New York is very much the same way, especially in like theater and certain stuff.
I guess you did kind of have that going for you. It's like you had cut your teeth in like New York.
You do, but LA is different.
LA is different now. And my experience was that in New York City itself forces you, the energy of the city and the place and the people forces you to get up every morning and do shit.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to LA, the energy is such that we don't care if you do anything. I don't give a fuck what you do. Don't do anything. And so the thing, if you want to succeed in LA, I think you have to force yourself to do it. New York forces you to do it. LA, for me, it was like, we don't give a fuck what you do. I don't care.
That makes sense.
And so I had to, and it took me a long time to figure that out. Like, oh, I have to do it. Nobody's calling me.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying, oh, hey, there's a meeting at 9:30 this morning. Where are you? Like, I had to do it. So that took me a while to think, again, because I got here thinking, oh, everybody knows I'm here. I just got here. The fucking one.
Yeah.
Well, that's the persona that everybody kind of gives up. And we talked about this earlier off camera, like when we were just kind of catching up, but LA has definitely changed over the past few years. Since 100%. COVID, LA is not the same place.
I think it's a completely different place than it was when I first moved here.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
And but there used to be this saying in LA, well, like, let's grab lunch, and it was kind of like this hub of like, yes, it's where you go to quote unquote make it because all of the opportunity is here. Right. And to that, we both got into LA, years later, but we were able to cut our teeth here, like you cut your teeth in Texas film.
Yeah, I think we had a little bit different experiences.
But like as far as like, getting commercial work and going to auditions and getting I guess.
No, I had already, we had different stories, kid.
Yeah.
You lived a whole different life.
Right.
Yeah. I had started doing films when I was 17 and then did a bunch of stuff in Texas. And then when I was 20, I made the move out here. So I kind of had, granted, very different, kind of like New York. But I think Texas was trying to emulate LA. So a lot of this stuff was the same. Still had a lot to learn, but it was a little bit easier of a transition for me, I think, than it probably was for you. And you did, so you're coming off this soap. Was like the move, like you got out here and like, did you already have like an agent and stuff? Or were you like
I'm
starting?
sure I did. I don't even remember. But
Oh, okay.
Can I ask
yes.
a question just because I
Please.
think our viewers would probably like
Our
it?
viewers, there's a
Because they, you know, we know how all of that works, right? Getting it. I mean, even still, I've only ever had one agent. You know, I don't know I've tried the submission process. Nothing ever like that worked for me. It was very much like, you know, you meet somebody in person and that kind of spearheads from there. But that's been my personal experience. It's not for everybody, of course. How did you, you know, before, when you were 8 years old
Yes.
and you were trying out for theater
Yes.
projects, how did you know where to go?
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, it's very different now.
Yeah.
It's just a completely different world now. Because back then,
But you could do what was done back then now is online, essentially.
yeah, back then they had. We were talking about managers earlier.
Yeah.
Back then, there were agents and there were managers who really. Managers actually really managed your career. That's why they called managers. And they, you know, basically back then it was still sort of the end of a system where you were discovered. Like somebody saw me do something and said, "Oh, I want to rep you. I can help you."
Oh, yeah.
And it was one of those deals where, and then they, you know, and they used to, they would not just send you out on auditions or submit you for jobs, but they would introduce you to people. They would introduce you to casting directors. Hey, there's this kid, there's Michael Vaccaro. You really need to see this kid because he's blah, blah, blah. And so you would meet people and they would take you to like things and industry things and, you know, and all of that stuff where they really were like, you were a partner. You felt like a partner. This doesn't exist today.
Right.
And so that was how I, you know, and the manager would then say, "Hey, there's this agent. This is great for you, kid," you know, blah, 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 you know, smoking a big cigar. And that's how it worked for my entire childhood until I was in my 20s and I came to Los Angeles. And even then when I got to Los Angeles, it was still sort of like, you know, you were sort of groomed for work, for, I don't want to say stardom, but you were groomed to be one of those people who worked. Like,
It's a weird thing too, where like there is this strange, it's almost that relaxing of like, oh, you're going to be fine. Just wait for the work to come type of thing, which I personally never experienced that, but I've kind of seen it. And it's like, it's not realistic, and it's definitely not something realistic now. And I don't think that it benefits anybody who came from that system who doesn't know how to adapt, you know, to the world that they're in now. But
that
it's
100%, yeah.
Because you see it a lot with like actors who are like, man, I haven't gotten a call in years. And it's like, well, you can't wait for a call.
100%. I mean, that's when, there was a shift at some point, and I figured out, however long it took me to figure out, like, oh, okay, no one's gonna help me. Nobody gives a shit anymore. It's dog eat dog. Like it's Armageddon, and like I gotta like figure out how to do this. And then, you know, again, if you're smart, I think I'm smart, and if you're ambitious, which I was and am, I think you just sort of you figure out what game is being played at the moment.
And you have a hard time. I think if you have that natural ambition or whatever, like if it's really in you for the right reasons, you are incapable of sitting still. I don't
100%. No, I can't.
Yeah.
I absolutely no, I can't.
So you're a creator too.
Yeah.
You know, people think of like short form content for like 30 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's not. But like you
Right.
developed your own web series that I had no idea about until we started like really, really working together. And you were like, oh, you guys want to do a web series? Let me show you how it's done.
Right.
And I was like, what? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. So web series was the thing that, like, again, it was one of those things where I realized, oh, I have to do this for myself. And this was in the very beginning when web series was first sort of a thing.
and
So
they
I
had real like celebrities.
I
and
wrote
stuff
this
on the show.
script,
It was like dope.
and then once I wrote the first season. I was like, oh my god, I love this so much. I have to do something with it. So then I just raised funds, and I ended up shooting this show, which is called Child of the '70s. It's a sitcom, and part of my deal with this was I wanted to get actual TV stars from the 1970s to do it in it. And so it was actually shockingly easy. Because, they're all sitting around doing nothing. And so I was like, I just found phone numbers for their agents or for themselves. I was like, I called up, people from the fucking Love Boat.
Just cold
called
them?
Shirley. And I was like, listen, I'm doing this show. Do you want to do it? And they were like, yeah.
Did you had to pay them?
I did. I raised money.
Yeah.
And I paid them. I ended up selling it to Amazon.
Buddy,
it's on
let's
Amazon
go.
right now. We did 5 seasons.
Child of the '70s.
Child of the '70s.
Watch it.
And we got all of these. Again, all these like amazing like TV stars from the 1970s in it. I got like the original cowboy from the Village People, and I got like people from the Love Boat and from Laverne and Shirley and from like all these incredible shows.
He sent me some clips because we were developing this character for him for Good Works with Rip, and you were like, I kind of want to base it off this, and you're sending stuff, and I was like, was this a show you were on? You're like, no, this is my show.
Yeah.
I did this, and I was like,
so
pardon?
Because that's when I sort of figured out, oh, so this is what. So instead of back in the day just having a picture and a resume and a fucking business card, and your calling card now was your work, and I was like, oh, okay, so I need to show them something. I have to give them something to watch, and so I thought, oh, I can do this, and yeah, it turned out to be kind of great. Yeah, I was really happy with it. And again, we did 5 years of it, 5 seasons of it.
And it was what?
Yeah.
Why is this the first time here? You were just casually dropping this information on me?
Really cool. It's so cool. I mean, also, like, we didn't even get into, like...
People from Pee-wee's Playhouse were in it. And let's see, what other shows? Angie was a big TV show in the 70s. The star of Angie was on it.
Was there anyone that was a dream get for the cast for you?
Yeah. Well, there's this woman. I mean, there were many people.
Sure.
Susan Olsen, who played Cindy Brady, is on it for a bunch of seasons.
That's right.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Saturday Night Fever?
Yeah.
The movie
John
with John Travolta?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this woman, woman in the movie, and she has this, she's an incredible actress, and she has this incredible scene where it's a horrible scene where she's raped in a car by a bunch of guys.
Oh no.
And she's great in the movie. I mean, she's really amazing. Her name is Donna Pescow. And in my mind I kept like, oh, there's a character who I want. This is the kind of character that I want. This is the kind of person who I want playing this role. So I got a casting director, and we put in the breakdowns. I said, I want a Donna Pescow type.
And did she respond?
And the next day, her agent called me and said, well, I actually have Donna Pescow.
Amazing.
And she ended up doing it. She played my mother. And like people from the Mary Tyler Moore Show were on it, and Rhoda, and like all these incredible things. So it was like, but it was a fascinating lesson to me at that point. It was like, oh, this is what Hollywood is now. This is where we're going. And so,
as far as having to create your own,
as far as just not just create, but to be able to not rely on anybody else, which is what it was back in the day. You would sit home and you wait for the phone to ring, and your agent would call, your manager would call, say, "Hey, kid, I got your job."
My dad still says that. He'll always be like, "Well, all you need is that one person to just believe in you," and I'm like.
Is that your impression of your dad?
Yeah, because he's like, that you just, well, if you can get this one guy to just believe in you. And
which
it's
is
like,
great. And maybe that still happens. Maybe.
Not been my experience.
Right.
Ever.
So the idea that I realized was that it didn't matter to me. This is what I was saying. It didn't matter to me if I failed.
Ooh.
That if I didn't know what I was doing, and I decided to do it anyway, if it failed, it was still 100 times, 1,000,000 times better than had I done nothing. So, and what I then realized after that, when I did in fact fail on different occasions, was that the failure was always positive. The failure always taught me something.
Yeah.
About myself, about my work, about life, whatever it was. So the failure was always a positive thing. And once I realized that, then I was fearless about failing.
Well, I think people think about failure as like a final, because, and when I say people,
right.
I'm, young, which I still consider us young, but we're like, I feel very, very young, but I've lived, and there was a certain time until pretty recently was like, if I fail at this, then I fail. That's not true. Just try it a couple of times. I promise you that's not the case. It's not like everything ends right there. No, you learn something. And what is failure necessarily? Like, okay, you didn't make money. You didn't what? It wasn't super popular. But the failure would have been to have done nothing and to sit and wait. Whereas opposed to now, like there are things that I quote unquote failed at or was part of things that failed where, circling back a year or two later, somebody else comes back and was like, wait, you were a part of that thing? Or you produced this, or you did this, or da-da-da-da. Oh, no. But like now it means something because it shows that you're capable of doing something. Okay, yeah, well, you didn't have X, Y, and Z for this to work, but like you learned something. It's as opposed to us, like we don't get to go have like these like have these resumes and work at these companies where it's like, oh, well, you did this, so now you go here. We don't get that. We have to make that for ourselves. And the only way that we do that, we don't get appointed these positions from big companies unless we've done it already.
Trial and error.
I
think it comes down to what your definition of failure is, right?
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No. Yes,
failure is quitting.
There you go. I think that's the only failure, right?
That is the failure. That is exactly the failure.
I agree.
And because because I'm ancient, they're young, I'm old, I'm ancient. I remember 8-track tapes. Nobody out there remembers what an 8-track tape is.
I remember 8 tracks.
So anyway, the point is that everybody I came up with, all the people, all the kids who were all actors at the same time that I was, and teenagers and young adults and all that stuff, all those people that I came up with, they all left. They all quit, which is possibly one of the reasons why I get work now. It's because everybody, the numbers diminish, right? There aren't as many of me as there used to be. And so the success is continuing.
Yeah.
That's success. If I can wake up every morning and do what I like to do and get paid for it with people who I like, and everything leads to something. Everything leads to another thing.
Yep.
It doesn't just stop.
No.
Whether you think it was a piece of shit, like the thing that we did, I don't know, we can mention it. We can mention his name.
Yeah.
When we
can't escape it.
When we did Darman, like that was
like Voldemort.
That was
but I will say this, and I totally hear you guys. I do have to say what is really cool is to see, and I've experienced this in little aspects, but never on the level of you guys, is that the absolute joy that I see on people's face, young and old, when they come up to you and they are just, oh my gosh, that is her. And what's crazy about it is your characters were always these like kind of bad guy characters and stuff, but it affected people. You made them laugh. And case in point, I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast or not, so forgive me if I have. But one of my favorite memories on that particular subject is us going to Lowe's, right? To literally get stuff to build this, right? And, you and I had only been dating a couple months. We were just starting to talk about what all this could be and what we wanted to do and this new path that we wanted to take in a lot of different ways. And
you
all
guys
that.
are dating.
Oh my gosh. Can I tell you something? Just between us.
That makes sense.
Since there's nobody else watching, can I tell you something? Just between us?
Please.
We might be grossly in love.
Oh.
Yep, big old tough Hollywood stuntman, grossly in love. I know on the exterior, all you see is this hulking hunk of a butch strong man. I get that. I have that look. On the inside, soft as baby shit.
Got it.
However, we're at Lowe's.
Yes, so you're at Lowe's, yes.
We're at Lowe's.
Somebody comes up to you and says...
No, not even.
What?
Not even.
No.
Check this out. So we're at Lowe's getting stuff, and I go to the back kind of section because we're looking for like paneling for the walls, right, in that little back section. And we go up to this woman. She's probably in her 50s or 60s, definitely for sure at the end of a very long day. And I go up to her, I'm like, oh, excuse me. And
At
how
her
many...
desk,
At her
too,
desk.
yeah.
And like how many times a day do those poor workers have some dingleberry coming up to them and ask them a stupid question? But I'm coming up to her, I'm like, hey, pardon me, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z. And to her credit, she was like trying her best to keep a straight face. And she looked at me to answer my question. And then she saw you. And she got teary-eyed and excited and so happy. And, and you're always so gracious. You always ask everyone's name. And you're always so wonderful and give your time pictures and all that good stuff. You're a total champ about it. But I remember thinking afterwards, like, man, I worked in restaurants for 17 years. And I fucking hated that job. Met some of my favorite people, but I fucking hated that job across the board. However, I remember being on like a 10-minute smoke break or something on my shift, and all I could find was like a little corner that I could sneak away at, and maybe I'd get on TikTok and scroll through some nonsense, just some junk food for my noggin, right? A little escapism. And I'd find these little things, they'd make me giggle, or maybe an inspirational thing, whatever the case may be, and it would give me some sort of levity that would help me get through the shift. So I'm thinking we go through and we see this woman who isn't the target demographic for that sort of thing, but for whatever reason, she was drawn to it. And all I could think was that woman, she's working this job at Lowe's. I don't know her life. Maybe she loves her job. I hope she does. I hope Lowe's takes care of their people. I don't know. But all I can think is working a job that maybe isn't your dream or whatever, but you show up every day because you got bills to pay and people to take care of. They're counting on you. And, on those days, you're like, fuck, what am I doing with my life? And like the weight of the world's on your shoulders. And you got a 10-minute smoke break or a lunch break even. And you're like standing because there's no tables for you to sit at, and you're eating some sandwich that's 6 days old. And you're just doing your best to get by. And you're like, fuck, dude, there is no joy in the world. And you go to something, silly as it may be, and it offers you a fucking smile. And that one moment of a smile, no matter the material, that escapism, that message, whatever the fuck it is, gives you enough strength. It lets you breathe. It lets you laugh. It lets you fucking exhale. It lets you take your tongue from the roof of your mouth and drop your shoulders for just a moment. And maybe that's all you needed to get through the rest of your shift, or God forbid, step off the ledge, instead of jump. And to that degree, I say, fuck our man. But if it brought happiness to people because of how willing you were to be committed, or things I've worked on, that's the power in what we do. Because when everyone's lost hope, when there's no hope to be found in a dark, dark fucking world, what do we turn to? We turn to our favorite song. We turn to our favorite movie. We look at a painting. We go to, we meet up with some friends in the park and we spit some poetry, or we rap, or we do whatever the fuck. Yeah. And for just a moment, you realize that there's fucking hope in this world. And that's why art's so important. So
that's why we kept doing it. It's when we started seeing how much fans loved it. We were working with the crews enough, or the directors, because Dart doesn't direct anything. But like,
I want to take what you just said and expand on it, because I have a story, if I may tell a story.
Oh, please. Oh my God.
And hopefully I won't start crying.
Oh, I hope you do.
Actually,
I'm going to zoom in.
Okay. Because this is not a story that happened to me, but it happened to somebody else. I was actually married twice. And my first husband, who we're divorced, and we're still like great friends, whatever. So, but he grew up in California, and he was a foster child. Grew up in the foster system. And he had like, I think he had 16 different foster families in 18 years. Right. So, and it was each one was worse than the last, like totally like abusive in every possible way. To the point where at some point when he was a child, he became like catatonic, like he just completely shut down. So, but this one family who was the absolute worst, back in the day in California, they used to have dairy farms. And so you used to get in the car, apparently, and you would go to these dairy farms where you get your eggs and your milk and your yogurt and whatever the fuck else you got. And he told me this story once that you'd go to this dairy farm and there was a gate, with a whatever that fucking thing is called. And, there was a woman in like a kiosk who would sit there and say, oh, all right, come on in. And whenever this woman would always smile at him. He was a kid. And he said years later that it was the only thing that kept him alive. That somebody smiled at him. Because he thought that was enough of a reason to live, that somebody... Right. So my point is that we never know how we affect people. We never know if we are inspiring people or not, like whatever. So the point is like to always not just do give 100% and do whatever you can do, but to always just be nice to people. Sorry.
No, don't you dare apologize. Look, don't you dare apologize. I think the reason that people are drawn to art, why the human animal needs art, is because we're all in this, what feels like eternal space of screaming into the void, feeling completely alone, screaming into the black void, and then turning our head to see if anyone says anything back. I heard you. Whatever that scream is, whether it's some form of art, whether it's a smile, whatever, we all just want to feel like we're not alone.
Yeah, and as creative people, it's just so important to just to give 100%, because you never know who is out there watching it, whether even if we think it's a piece of junk, who is out there watching it and what they are experiencing from it and how it is changing a life. And I don't want to blow sunshine up my ass and think what we're doing is really noble, but it actually is. It is.
Yeah, I think people, generally speaking, very generally speaking, I think a lot of times there is a stigma around what specifically maybe actors or musicians or whoever do, that it's all about them. And listen, call a spade a spade. We all are a little bit selfish and self-involved. A little bit. You got to be.
Well,
However,
there's a certain type of person who gets into it
for the wrong reasons, right? And that's the important thing about these conversations is that if you want to do this thing, fucking do it, man. You can. We're three nobodies from nowhere with no one helping us, with clearly all very different stories, and we were able to pay our bills doing this thing. Not because anyone helped us. In fact, in spite of no one helping us. But if you're going to do this thing, it's really fucking hard. And if you're going to call yourself the same thing that we call ourselves or that our peers call ourselves, by all means, there's room at the table for you, but don't come here with some false idea about what this thing is, man. This exists for people to have an outlet, a friend when there's no one else, escapism, perspective, that's your duty. And yes, are there upsides to it? Sure. Do you get to have your moment in the spotlight? Of course. And that's wonderful. And that's not a bad thing. But it can't be the whole thing.
It's not the whole thing because that's a tiny fucking fraction of it.
Yeah.
And if you love this, then you'll step behind the camera and you'll do the hard work. And you don't need to be in front of it because you love it. And you'll look at somebody else shining and you'll be like, oh, dude, that's a good performance right there. I think maybe we could tweak it this way. Or I would love to, put that, it's not all about you.
And sometimes it can be. Sometimes you can be in front of the camera, but learn it all, man. If you want to do this thing, learn what it is. Educate yourself. Learn about some camera shit. You don't have to know all the ins and outs and the different lenses, but educate yourself. This is your craft, Treat it with respect. And if acting is where your artistic expression mostly lies, fantastic. Learn all about that too. Familiarize yourself with Shakespeare. Familiarize yourself. God, that's a hard word to say. Familiarize yourself with the different acting coaches and learn all about. Oh, what do you got?
Well, no, it's my favorite. I'm sorry, we keep talking about Shakespeare. You can't see this. You can't read it. I'm sure. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
first of all, I told you that I couldn't read.
This is my favorite Shakespeare quote, and it's tattooed on my body.
You're right. I can't read it.
You can't.
Explain it to me. It's some form of Elvish.
It does look like Elvish.
Elvis.
There are few who can.
It's from Hamlet. Hamlet, Act 2, Scene 2, and it says, "For there is nothing, either good or bad, but thinking makes it so."
Ooh, let's go, Billy Shakes.
Yes, he was pretty good. Yeah.
Bright future
Yes.
ahead. I hear good things.
On acting, I also, aside from studying, because this is, I will I will die on this hill.
Okay.
If you can't study, if you can't join a class, if you can't afford it, know people, study humans. Like, acting is about, there's the famous saying of like, never get caught acting.
Yeah.
So like,
right.
you know, if you're like fucking
Yes.
around and being
Right.
like over the top or whatever, it's fine. But in certain moments when you are being a thing, don't get caught acting like a thing. You're supposed to be that thing. So whatever the character is, whatever that creature is, you kind of imagine yourself as that thing in that situation. And the only way you can do that is by studying and around you. And there's a lot that you can learn from classes, and there's a lot that you can learn from on camera, work, but
Absorb it all.
you can't, there's nothing like just knowing the humans and not just yourself, but others. I think that's the key.
You know what we call that?
What?
Empathy.
Imagine.
A very rare commodity these days. But if you can find some, hold on to it, because it's a pretty stellar. It's a pretty stellar compound, emotional compound.
So how do we sum this episode up,
Well,
fellas?
empathy. That's a good way to wrap it up. And
Tell me about empathy, Vaccaro.
Oh well, I think it's the. I think you both know that I had another husband who passed away, who died. And one of the many things that I learned from that experience was, I remember one day, right a few days after he died, I was home in my apartment and I saw like there were people out in the world. Like there were people on the street, like they were walking and they were talking to each other and people were driving and like, acting like nothing had happened. And I remember like absolutely losing my mind thinking, what is wrong with you people? Are you insane? Don't you know that the world has ended? Like the world is over, right? And then I realized something. They have no idea. Everybody out in the world has no idea what just happened to me. And then it took me a while to realize, oh, wait a minute. So that means I have no idea what has happened to any of them. So again, it goes back to this idea of just being nice to people, having empathy, which is like, you never, ever know what has happened to somebody on a daily basis. Like their dog has died, or they've lost their job, or they've been evicted, or like, they've been jilted, or like whatever the fuck it is. Everybody has a fucking story. Everybody has a story which is going on right now, right at this particular moment. And so the best thing that you can do is have empathy.
Damn right. And you know what advice I would give to someone going through a hard time? I can actually sum it up in 2 words. 6 letters.
Oh.
Ever forward.
You sick son of a bitch!
Well, that's over with.